In Portland's Monument Square on Thursday, May 13th, environmental health advocates gathered to demand immediate ban of certain harmful chemicals. They used boxes with chemical names to demonstrate the serious problems caused by these chemicals in a lighthearted skit they called "Let's Make a Chemical Deal."
Hi, my name is Elisa Boxer-Cook, and I'm from Scarborough, and we are here in Portland's Monument Square where it's very windy, and we are playing Let's Make a Chemical Deal for Maine. We are trying to make sure that the state of Maine develops a very long list of priority chemicals to ban as a result of the Kids Safe Products Act, which was passed last year, which charges the state's Department of Environmental Protection with coming up with a list of the worst toxic chemicals.
Michael Beliveau, Executive Director of the Environmental Health Strategy Center, spoke at the event.
We're here today to talk about the thousands of industrial chemicals that threaten children's health and family health that show up in everyday products and materials in our homes. We're calling on the Maine Department of Environmental Protection Agency to take action to name priority chemicals to ensure that we have the right to know under state law about which of these priority chemicals are in everyday consumer products, and especially to begin to take action to drive those chemicals out of commerce in favor of safer alternatives.
Elisa Boxer-Cook hosted the game, and Ryan Tipping Spitz of Bangor portrayed the state of Maine.
Thanks, everyone, and now it's time to play Let's Make a Chemical Deal. Today's contestant, the state of Maine, welcome. Now, Maine, as you know, each of these boxes contains one of the 40 most dangerous chemicals currently used in everyday consumer products. Let's play, Maine. Now it's time to pick your first dangerous chemical to take action on and find out what the people of your state have won. Let's go.
I think I'm going to start with PBDE.
All right, congratulations. All right, Maine, pick again. What's your next choice?
I think I'm going to go with phthalates.
All right, phthalates. Hey! Congratulations. All right, Maine, what's your next choice? So far, you have chosen 4 extremely dangerous chemicals to be replaced with safer alternatives. You've done a great job. You've helped prevent chronic and deadly disease in Maine's children and adults, and you've also saved hundreds of millions of dollars in unnecessary health and economic costs. There are still dozens more boxes out there, Maine. This is very exciting. You're on a roll. What is your next choice?
Yeah, I think I'm good. I think I'll stay here.
This is a surprise. Not a good one. It's hard to believe, folks, but it looks like Maine's going to leave scores of toxic chemicals in use and hundreds of millions of dollars in healthcare costs on the table. I know. That is it for this year's episode of Let's Make a Chemical Deal. What a bummer.
That was a lighthearted lesson on a very serious issue. Maine children, Maine families are facing learning and developmental disabilities, cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer, childhood leukemia, infertility, and a variety of health disorders that are preventable because they're linked in part to chemical exposure from everyday consumer products. So this is a very serious problem. Fortunately, there is an opportunity to solve it. In 2008, the state of Maine passed the Kids Safe Products Act, and that law, which was a first-in-the-nation effort to regulate these dangerous chemicals, calls on our state agency, the Maine Department of Environmental Protection, to identify priority chemicals and to take action to replace them in everyday products with safer alternatives. And it would be tragic if, like this skit, they only listed 2 or 3 or 4 chemicals when we know there's so many more dangerous chemicals in everyday products. And today we're presenting the results of that independent study, and we'll be issuing a call to action to the state of Maine. So I'd like to introduce now Dr. Peter Ranslow, who is a PhD organic chemist that works for an independent consulting firm that took a look at what are the worst chemicals in consumer products in Maine.
Essentially, the project was designed to follow the methodology that's put out in the Kids Safe Chemical Act. We looked at a variety of biomonitoring studies and looked at chemicals that not only were looked for but had been detected in humans, in particular in children. The next criteria we looked at was exposure, whether the chemicals were contained in products that children could be exposed to, either directly through use or through the disposal of those products. The next criteria we looked at was safer alternatives. We did basically some searches to see if it was likely that there may be alternatives to these chemicals or processes. Finally, we compared our draft list to other lists that are being developed by other states and regulatory agencies, just to see if we're looking at the same types of chemicals that they are. We found pretty good overlap between our list and their lists. What we came up with was a list that contains approximately 40 chemical substances in 9 chemical classes, all of which may benefit from additional scrutiny by the Maine Department of Environmental Protection.
Amy Halstead is an expectant mother from Brunswick and very concerned about how toxic chemicals will impact the health of her new baby.
So my name is Amy Halstead. As you can see, I am a soon-to-be mom from Brunswick, Maine. In just about a month, I will have my first baby. My husband and I are very excited and also a little nervous about becoming parents. It's a daunting job. But what we're even more anxious about are some of the things we can't control, like the hundreds of, maybe thousands of chemicals that I've been exposed to in my lifetime and that my baby boy will be exposed to in the months and the years ahead. We're particularly concerned about the use of bisphenol A, which is called BPA, for which the evidence and the data is so extensive and so damning. That chemical really needs to be banned, flat out banned from all products, especially kids' products.
Thank you so much, Amy. You know, as we know, babies that are developing in the womb and young children are uniquely vulnerable to the effects of toxic chemicals. It can disrupt their brain development. It can harm their reproductive health. In fact, scientists say that many or most chronic diseases are associated with impacts that happen early in our lives. We appreciate the leadership of Governor Baldacci and Commissioner Littell at Maine Department of Environmental Protection in the Maine legislature that passed this law. We have the scientific analysis. We have the public concern. We have moms and moms-to-be that are demanding action. And so we hope that DEP gets the message and we'll be grading them on their performance. Thanks again to the cast of Let's Make a Chemical Deal and for all of you coming today. Thank you.
This is Steve Horocek reporting for Community Update.